What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another drawing tutorial Patreon request today. This is Godzilla destroying Muto. I can't remember if it's male or female. What's the one? I can't remember. Muto, anyway. So, landscape page, use a pencil, use an eraser, hit pause if I go too fast. We're going to start with Godzilla firing his atomic beam going down this way. So, you want to start with sort of a big frowning sort of check mark sort of line, right? Going back along the back of the head. Can be kind of bumpy as well. It's kind of like the frown, you know. And Godzilla has this sort of big, large eye socket area. So it's like curves around and like kind of joins the nose eventually. But we'll just loop it under like that. And then his small little eye in here, kind of like a grain of rice or an almond or something. And then we'll give it a thin eye. I think it's better for Godzilla. Looks more reptilian or something. And then we got like eyelid lines. Sort of bags around skin around the eye there. So we'll keep going. So we'll go a couple of bumps here at the front of the head, and then we meet that square nose or snout that Godzilla has. And then this will bump around for his mouth. And then we gotta give a couple of those extra sort of wrinkle lines that like come under the face and onto the nose, right? So it's kind of like his cheek or something comes onto the nose. And kind of joins the sort of spikes that start going down the head then. The mouth is open real wide, right? But we can add some textures to that as we go. So I think we can see like a nostril here, just along the top of the snout. And then top of the head bumps itself sort of back this way, and eventually it'll start coming down, you know, for the spikes and the spine and everything. But we'll just, it goes quite far. It's sort of high up as well. Start to curve here somewhere. But we'll try and get the bottom jaw done first. So where his mouth connects is like here. And they have, Godzilla has that pink skin, you know, that joins his bottom and top jaw. And then we will go bumping real wide again. And this is like his chin. And then the tongue sort of comes out here, right? A bumping sort of tongue going down towards the bottom of the mouth there. And then his gum line just comes back along in there. And we can see some skin at the side, sort of keeping his mouth together on the other side. So not forgetting teeth. So we got like small little teeth here at the front, and it kind of gets a bit bigger as you go. They're kind of all different sizes. Kind of layers and layers of teeth. And then the ones at the bottom are really small. And if you want like textures on the skin as well, little circles and dots and sort of like overlapping kind of lines. Okay. So his neck is quite high up, and we've got like 3 layers of like spikes coming down the neck as well. So we'll go like this way, right? Because his head is hunched over. Like they can't even see kind of the front. It's kind of like there somewhere. And then we'll just bump this down this way, right? So this is like the line like for his spine, and it's kind of like bumpy and spiky every now and then. It looks like Muto has a hold of him. Is that Muto's leg? Okay, I think we hit Muto's leg somewhere here, so I'll just stop it there, right? But say like coming out from, say like his eye socket here, right? Godzilla seems to have like a layer of spikes, right? It goes down the back. And then another layer. This is like the bottom layer coming out from the jaw. It goes down his back then. And then one in the middle. So this starts to get like all bumpy and wavy. And there's all lines that sort of join these together, like. Right, and these start to get quite big coming down, but. Okay, and then of course this all gets like quite textured all down there. But that's kind of the width of the neck. Kind of with all these fins on them. And then we have the gills underneath the jaw. these have sort of like textures on them. Maybe like a neck muscle or something going down that way. So this all gets kind of textured and wrinkly and bumpy and all that down his body. So we'll try and get the main structure then. So let's see. So I think we got Godzilla's arm here. So there's like a shoulder muscle sort of thing. And then a tricep. And a bicep there. And then his elbow goes that way. Forearm there. So this is Godzilla's elbow, and we'll add textures to everything. But so Muto has a hold of his arm. So Muto's like here. One of his sort of claws is like in Godzilla. And this is like all wrinkly and has some sort of edge lines and stuff to it. Right, and then Godzilla's hand keeps going. And it has a hold of Muto's face, basically. So it's like a nail here. And Godzilla's other shoulder is there. Kind of like chest muscles here. And I'll just finish the back. So there's a Muto leg, like got a hold of Godzilla wrapped around him back here as well. Down there. And then I think there's another little knee or something there. And then I think this is Godzilla's thigh, his like a leg or something in there. And then there's like down to the stomach all down there. And so the base of the hand comes up this way, down into Muto's mouth again. Another finger sort of coming across there. Maybe we can see like his spiky thumb on the other side. We got to add Muto, but I think I'll finish the Godzilla section first, and then we'll deal with all this stuff here. So we got to starting to add all these spikes that Godzilla has around the back of his neck. And they kind of look like coral reefs or kind of Stegosaurus fins, you know. So there's lots of different ways of doing these now. I'm just sort of adding them as I go. Maybe a couple of layers, you know, another layer behind this. They kind of get a bit smaller because Muto's arm is blocking. And then there's all sort of textures on Godzilla's back here as well. Excuse me. And all on the neck and everything. On the shoulder. So you're just adding all these sort of crisscross lines to kind of make them look a bit reptilian. Every now and then you might add a little bump or a spike. This is his leg, so it curves over. So I always like to imagine I'm throwing like a net on top. That's his belly. This is the belly. That's the chest. It's all on the fingers and stuff here. Okay, so we've got to draw Muto's open mouth. Now Godzilla holding it open. So let's see, we can see like two spikes sort of here. And then the jaw comes across this way. He's like holding the head. Holding the head open. So like Godzilla's fingers are like there. So maybe we'll do like a little bump for a finger, and then we'll just go nearly straight down for the Muto skull shape. And there's a bit of that red in here. And then there's like a jawbone there. And it's all sort of wrinkly and stuff. And then kind of a neck muscle there. So I think that's the red eye. I'm not quite sure, but I think it is. And then shoulder, bony sort of shoulder. And then the chest going that way. And then I think so Godzilla's sort of bicep goes in there. And then that's the chest, and then the stomach that way. And then Muto has a holder on this side as well. Okay, Godzilla's fingers. So the back of the hand sort of comes out here. Fingers kind of forcing open, carving around. And the thumb comes across that one. And we can see the claws sort of going into the mouth there. There's like some skin on the knuckles. So, isn't Muto's head like a bit longer? Sorry, I'm like wasting time now. There's nothing here. It's just maybe Godzilla crushes it or something. I'm not sure. Yeah, okay. Well, laser beam then. Being shot down here. And this will all be obviously colored blue. Boom. Godzilla defeats Muto. Hope it's helpful. Thanks for the support on Patreon. See you in the next one. Bye.